All right, we are live. So glad that you guys are here. Glad that you're here to talk to me and maybe bring some questions and things that you have, burning questions. The last few weeks, we've been talking about a couple of things. We've been talking about generating and building a list in our business that's going to help us sell, grow our business, get the sales that is that air and that lifeblood of our business, and also help us get more profitable in our business, right? Take some of that stress off the business owners, off of our sales teams, and how that can be used in our business, how we can use it to deepen relationships, educate our existing customers about other products and services we have, actually creating, a better annual revenue per customer in our businesses and what that can look like. We actually walked through some examples. So we're just kind of continuing that conversation and talking about what can this look like in our business, and what is that piece, that element that might be missing or might be broken in our businesses. So first off, thank you so much for being here. Super excited to have you guys. As always, I'm going to do my best to make sure that I'm focused on you and looking at you, but I am running a little bit of tech to show you guys some stuff here off and on. So do forgive me if I just look away briefly for a moment or catch some notes. I want to make sure I have some questions that have been asked previously, and I want to make sure that I get to those, I address those and some of those things as well. So let's do a quick recap of some of the things that we've been talking about. And then we're going to talk about how we might be able to implement a system, an automated system into our business to actually help us address some of these things that we've been talking about, and how we could address issues that we want to address in our businesses and also amplify some of the things that are working in our businesses. But first off, I know a lot of you kind of know who I am if you've been following me. But for those of you who don't, just a quick aside. My name is Jeannie Ringcob. I run Storybuilt Marketing and Consulting. I studied marketing, have a degree in marketing, have several certifications. But what I really have is I have 20 plus years experience in the construction and the agricultural industries as a business owner. And a lot of those years really spent with some of my primary responsibilities. When you're a business owner, you get to wear a lot of different hats, but for the first 20 years, it was really, the first 15 years, it was really sales. Sales was what I did, and it was all about building the relationships, and I love doing sales that way. So I think it's important when I talk about all of this stuff that I preface that, because I was raised starting at age, 5 to 7, I started going with my dad on sales calls and actually talking about who are we going to meet with? What do we think their problems are? What are some questions we're going to be asking them? And then actually sitting in on those sales conversations. We were in the asphalt industry, so actually driving roads, so actually getting to see their problems firsthand, what they were struggling with. And then my dad would do like these debriefs, and I didn't know what he was doing at the time, but now in hindsight, looking back, it was this incredible opportunity to learn about, identifying your customer's problem, solving that problem, forming a relationship that was really built on that, bringing value to them. So it was a really great experience. It was an incredible opportunity. It took me into great careers, not only in owning my own businesses, but in working for some incredible companies, some, really incredible companies, Coke Industries, a lot of other leaders in the asphalt world, and stuff like that. And then also partnering with my husband later on and working in the ag industry, which ironically, there was a lot of overlap in terms of some of the issues and structure and culture that are in both of those industries. There's also a lot of the same players, suppliers, vendors, and things like that going on in those industries too. Even today, I meet with people and I find I'm really surprised by the overlap in those industries. But some of the biggest thing is that they're essential businesses, but they're also businesses that rely heavily on sales. And why I mention this and why I kind of just let you know about my background is because I believe in building relationships. I believe that we need salespeople. As owners, we often need to be that salesperson ourselves. And it's really, really important. I did study marketing in college, and I've spent the last probably 5 years really trying to fill in the gaps for myself, because marketing changes so much. And the marketing I studied in college and the marketing that's out there now is very different. Marketing is really an ongoing learning experience. If you're going to be in marketing, you got to continue to learn. So it's been really fun the last 5 years for my own business and for the people that I work with. It was vital that I learn how to not just run sales and marketing in these two silos, but to really let them work together. And how do we amplify and get the best results and also really be good stewards of our resources, our time and our money and our assets and, the people resources and all of those things, and use them together. So they are separate. They are two different things. And we're going to kind of look at them parallel side by side today as we address some of the questions and things that have come up about how do we automate part of this in our business without losing that sales piece and keeping and forming relationships, which in this day and age is, it's always been important, but I think we're remembering how important that piece is, and people want it back more than ever. So it's really, really critical that as we implement processes into our business, that we don't lose sight of building those relationships too. So we're going to actually talk about that, and we're going to show some parallels today when we dive into some of the examples and different things that are going on. But before we dive into that, once again, I want to just thank you for being here, for taking time out of your day. And let's just do that quick recap of some of the things we've been talking about in the previous episodes. We've talked about how and why building a list in your business is important. I actually shared a story with some people that are kind of close and intimate in my business last night. And I'm going to share that same story with you guys here. So I mentioned I studied marketing, but I also am a student of sales by default in my life. But it was about 5 years ago when my husband and I were selling the business we'd been building for approximately 10 years together. He'd been in it a little bit before me. I had come in, we continued to grow it. And then we were selling out of that business. So really great opportunity, really great experience. But I loved marketing, and I had some other industries that I wanted to serve and I kind of wanted to get back to. So I really dove in and started building a small business for myself again. And it was very different than when we'd started building these businesses, and it was just me. So it was, it wasn't us doing it as a team with a whole, office full of employees anymore. It was going back to my roots. It was a little bit more just me. But now I had a husband, I had kids. We were still, transitioning out of that business didn't happen overnight and stuff like that. And I remember it was a little like Groundhog's Day, but I can still remember this one in particular day where it hit me that I had to do something different. It was, I needed to be at a dinner meeting with my husband. It was really, really important for the business. If I was going to get there in time, I needed to have hit the showers 40 minutes ago. I couldn't remember if I had scheduled a babysitter, and my daughter had been invited to yet another birthday party, and it was kind of last minute notice. And I'm trying to juggle how I'm going to make this happen. And in my head, I'm sitting there thinking about the 5 people that I had meant to follow up with that day. People that were in my system. They were part of my sales pipeline, my process. I was aware of them, and they were on my agenda to make sure I reached out and connected with them, and that it might be really timely, and I had something of value to share. It's a process developing that relationship, and you have all these touch points that need to happen, and that's how the relationship forms. And as that person responsible for that, you're responsible for reaching out, whether it's sending an email, sharing a piece of information that will be useful to them, answering a question, overcoming an objection that they have, getting a deeper understanding of their problem. These are all, parts of that process, whether it's discovery's call, whether it's getting them a proposal, whatever it is. I had, I had knocked about 5 follow-ups off of my list. I'd actually even landed one that day. So I was really excited about the opportunity and the problem that we were going to be solving for her in her business. But I had this immense weight and guilt about these other people that I hadn't been moving through the process. They had made no advancement that day, and there was just no way. I had no more time in my day. I've been watching, I knew all the new marketing stuff, but I'd not really implemented an automated and really fully fleshed out system into my business yet. And I told myself I didn't really want to just go there. I wanted a business that was built on relationships, but yet I was starting to come to this terrible reality that I needed help, but I wasn't in a position to go hire a sales force. And even if I did, they were going to have the same, obstacles that I did. I needed to find a little bit of a solution for myself first. And I was to that place where my business needed some automation and some processes. And I knew they were out there, but I felt like they weren't going to give me the touch point I wanted. So it seems like every day was Groundhog Day. It was all kind of like that. So I really dove in 5 years ago and I started implementing automated funnels in my business, but I took a very different approach. I didn't want a hands-off business that was, I do believe that it is a misnomer to say, scale your business, make money while you sleep, all of those things. It's just not true. You have to put work in. Even building a funnel and understanding your audience takes work, it takes engagement, and it takes you showing up. But what you can do is, and this is what I've learned over the years, is that you can actually magnify each action you take. You can disseminate information, add value, increase the number of touch points by implementing the systems in your business. And the people that get the best results are the ones that understand that you have your sales and you have your marketing, but you don't have to run them in a silo. And you can build systems and processes to help them serve one another. So that's what we're going to kind of be talking about today. And those are some of the topics in a nutshell that we've been talking about over this last little bit. But let's dive into just a couple of the quick questions that I've had about how do I implement an automated system like this in my business? Some of the biggest questions that I have found from people. And so I'm going to share my screen with you guys right now and just share kind of a presentation that I made that I think is going to be just helpful for you guys. And what we were talking about in this presentation that I've kind of modified just to give you guys some visual examples here is getting enough leads in our business, getting quality leads in our business, and getting consistent leads in our business. But as we go through this, you're also going to realize we're actually talking about how that flows through our business and what that customer journey and experience looks like. And we're going to be talking about the way that your sales and your marketing can work together and how an automated funnel system can actually amplify everything that you're doing in your business. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a healthy marketing pipeline, or we call maybe a sales pipeline and a marketing funnel. So we're kind of, like I said, we're comparing this. So if you are talking about a sales strategy, you're talking probably about prospecting right here. You're doing the research. You're figuring out who those targets are. Who are you putting on your list as really high potential, high value potential customers or that type of person? You're also probably right here coming into contact with your lead in your funnel for the very first time. So this area here has to do with the brand message that you create. And that brand message, if you flipped this on its head and you turned it into a triangle, that brand message is the foundation of all of your marketing and sales. And really that brand message, we call it a brand script, is what I use with my customers. All of my clients really pretty much have to make sure they have a fully fleshed out brand script. And in the Story Built Marketing Funnel Bootcamp program that I run, I didn't used to do it, but I actually added that element to it because I found that if we didn't do that and create that in our businesses, it just wasn't clear. Everything else didn't work right. It didn't fall into place and it didn't follow along a consistent journey. So this is where you create that message and people start gravitating to you. They connect with you. It helps you filter the right prospects into your business. It helps people self-filter or opt in and really gravitate towards you and want to connect with you when you're doing all of those things that fill your funnel. You're showing up on social media. You're maybe public speaking as part of your thing. Maybe you're guesting on stuff. Maybe you're networking, all the things that are actually, bringing people into the sphere of your influence, into your business. That next level down, when we return to this and we're thinking about it back in this format right here, into that funnel or that pipeline, this is when you actually have a contact call. You're having that first conversation, you're introducing yourself, you're identifying the problem that they have. And in a automated funnel, they're opting in. So you can see here as we talk about this, it's a proactive approach and an approach where you kind of cast a wider net that people can come to you, because you're not going to find everybody. But if you want to see how you can scale your business, grow your business, and amplify all your efforts, you have to have a net out there that lets people come in as well. We usually see some form of opt-in at this point, and this is a big mistake that we'll talk about that people make later on when their system isn't working right in their businesses. And we use what we know from that very first step, that brand message, that brand script that we've created. We've given them something of value to give them a taste of what it is to work with us and how we can offer value, and that we really understand their problem. So the next thing you have down here, and probably a healthy pipeline, is you're probably having a sales call. Now you're getting a little bit more into their specific problems, the specific solution that you offer, maybe the plan that you implement to get them there. So you're going a level deeper. You're also, if you're in your automated sequence, and the beautiful thing about this is sometimes these are running in parallel to each other, because people need so many contact points with us before they really decide that they're comfortable and they're ready to buy. And the beauty of it is they don't all have to come from you live in person, one-on-one. They can be built into a system where you're still adding value and continuing to enlighten them about what problem you solve and your solutions and what it's like to actually experience working with you. So this is what we typically call a nurture sequence, or these are the ongoing emails that you're providing in a very strategic manner to your audience so they can continue that process, and you're staying top of mind. And we talked about this when we talked about the power of actually having an email list. People aren't always coming to us ready to purchase. So how do we stay top of mind? How do we continue adding value and educating them about what we can do for them to let them know that when they're ready, we're right here for them? It's really, really important. And as a salesperson, I know it's really hard to always be right there on point. So it's really great to have some kind of automated sequence that's helping you along the way. You can't be with every single person all the time and then also still serve your customers, manage your employees, work on your business, and have a life. So this is a great way to really prop that up on the other side and keep people moving down that process and that customer journey. If you're looking at sales versus funnels right here, we can use sales emails. And those are things that kind of give people a stronger call to action in our funnels. And depending on your product or your service, this may be that point where they say, yes, I'm in. And maybe that sales email is just getting them on the phone. Maybe it's actually transacting and actually converting them to a customer right there on the spot. It really depends on your specific product, service, and your business model. In a sales process, that probably is more of a proposal, really well thought out proposal, which even a well-built proposal goes back to that brand script, and it pulls elements of that into the communication of it and how you present that as well. Same thing with your email, that if you're doing this and it's part of a sequence, and periodically you're putting out a stronger call to action, we call this a sales email. And the bottom piece is where you close or you convert. So we'll see a little bit more examples about what this looks like in our business. But once again, the goal here is to get enough leads, quality leads, and consistent leads. So the question is, how do I get enough leads? And how do I know how many leads I need to get the number of clients I want? Which is really important. This is another element that we've actually built into the Marketing Funnel Bootcamp, because it's important to know your lead and your lag measures. If you know your goal, you know your objective, and the longer you're in business, the longer you're doing this, you can start quantifying how many calls, maybe prospecting calls if you're proactive selling, or how many leads do you have to bring into your funnel to get to that goal. And if you know that, you can actually define the actions that matter in your business. Because if you're a business owner, if you're a leader in sales, if you're a salesperson, we all have so much to do. But if we can identify these things, then we can actually identify the actions and the things we need to make a priority day in and day out in our business. So this is really, really important. And if you have a funnel working alongside of you, maybe instead of 100 proactive prospecting calls that you need to make per week or per day, just depends on your business model and your goals and how many other people are working towards that end objective. Maybe you need to make 10 really highly targeted and qualified ones because you have a system over here that's bringing more people in. That's not to say that sometime during this process, you're not getting that personal touch point and you're not actually moving them over to where you're having that contact point. It's probably helping you filter through and get that right person on the phone with you and in that process, or all the way through the process and actually converted. So you can see we got to catch this many up here to get this one down here. And that's no different whether you're in sales or whether you're using funnel or whether you're using both systems together. The process is that you're amplifying your efforts when you incorporate using them both together. So that is how we get to the point of efficiency and the quality leads. So one question that comes up is, I'm not getting good leads. And we have a phrase that we use, and it's don't swing at the ugly, right? So if you're in sales, it's really important that you qualify your leads. If you have a marketing funnel, it's still just as important as you qualify your leads. And you create a system, and I like to explain to people at this point on that side, hopefully they are self-selecting out of your funnel if they are not a good fit. And that brand script, that brand message is really powerful both as a sales tool and in your marketing collateral, your marketing funnel, to help people self-select out and to help you connect the dots between what problem or solution you have and the problem that they have. So that people know they're in the right place, that you know that they're in the right place. Because if we can get higher quality leads, we don't have to get as many of them to get down to this one conversion that we need, or how many ever conversions that we need. Consistent, right? Let's talk about getting consistent leads in our business. So a lot of people talk to me, and a question that they have is, I get my leads, I get people in, and if your funnel is not working properly, they have the same problem as you do is if you're in sales. And then I get busy serving them. And this is really a problem for those people that are not using an automated system in their business. I get busy serving them, delivering the value that I promised, providing the customer service, actually really getting it done. And that might be why you started your business and why you really love it. And then you look up, your head comes up out of that, and you don't have another one coming in, or another few down that pipeline, or they're way down that pipeline. And maybe the time it takes you to get them there is much longer than it really needs to be for you to have that consistency in your business. And if we can't have consistency, then we're always staying at that sales level, right? We're never getting up to that next level of the business hierarchy of needs where we can actually get profitable. We need the peace of mind that those are coming in. Now, we can manually have a pipeline in our sales prospecting that's going on, but why not amplify that and have something that's automated that's bringing more of those in and helping us make sure that we don't have a place in our pipeline, whether it's our funnel or a proactive pipeline, that is drying up and having us stuck with these big gaps in our business where we don't have enough of the right customers. So each piece of this marketing funnel is super important. So to reiterate, a few of the questions we get are, I do sales. I really want to have these relationships. I don't want to lose them. Well, we talked about this, right? We talked about that this can be something that works in conjunction. You have your sales, you have your marketing, they're helping each other. If it is helping you find, identify, and get those right people so you can take them deeper into the relationship, it's well worth your time. For multiple reasons. It's giving you higher quality of person, and it's giving you that consistency of enough leads coming in that you are already taking through a filter, and you're not having so many of those calls, right? So really important. It also, another thing, the question that I get is, I have a big list, but I'm just not really sure how being active and engaging with them is really going to grow my business. So how this comes up frequently is, does everybody on your list know everything that you can do for them? And I'm going to share another story right here. I had somebody that ran through the boot camp, and we were talking about, what is that nurture sequence going to look like? What kind of stuff? And he was struggling. I'm not sure what I should be putting in here. And I said, well, how many things do you offer? People come to you for a few different things, I know. So tell me what that is. And he explained to me what it is. And he explained all the different services that he can offer. And for a lot of his customers, they may need different things from him at different times. But he was struggling to communicate all the things he did to those customers at the right time because he was really a one-man show. He had a small business going on. So we really mapped those out and we built some opportunities over a whole year annual strategic marketing calendar where he could actually build in reminders about the other things that he could do and how other customers, so social proof of how other customers had started with him for one thing, but then been able to do something else. So over the course of this, what we saw is that the average revenue that he earned from one customer tripled. And it wasn't that every single one tripled, but as an average across the board, because for him, if they just bought one more thing within that year, it could double to triple to even quadruple the amount because they got to experience him here. They really loved it. And he made sure to let them know. And a lot of them, they figured that out through those emails that were coming in, right? It wasn't that he was neglecting them. He was still out there building those relationships, executing on the work, definitely telling people about what he did, but he didn't have the chance to always let everybody know. So it was really, really powerful for that reason too. So the next question that comes up a lot that we're going to talk about is that people say, I'm doing something like this, but it's not working. I'm not getting the results that I need. I'm not seeing people go all the way through. It seems to be broken somewhere. It's just not working for me. So we're going to actually talk about this and we're going to show you some visuals on this as well. So let's imagine this is our healthy pipeline that we showed out there earlier. Let's imagine that right here, you're either something's happening, you're getting too busy in your business. So you're too busy maybe delivering on something for a client. So you're not actually making that next contact call. Or you have an opt-in, a lead generator, we call it, that doesn't connect well. The messaging is off, or it doesn't seem to add value, or a common mistake that I see is you just don't have an opt-in at all. So that's the first one, is that you don't have one. And the second thing that I see is that it doesn't really relate. They haven't really went back and looked at that brand script and made sure that they knew what would add value and what would where are they feeling their pain right now? How do they identify their problem? And what small piece of value can you give them right now to help them out and show them how you could help? So if we're missing that piece right there, this is what happens. We're catching all these people up here. We're maybe qualifying and finding some great prospects, but we either don't have the time to make that next call or enough of those next calls, or we don't have something that's capturing. Even if you are making those calls, if you're proactively prospecting, that's great. But what about all the people that are showing up at your website and they are not quite ready to buy now, but they're curious and you're not giving them an opportunity to move into relationship with you? That's what you're doing. You're basically saying, here, this is what I do. Buy now or I'll see you later. I don't have anything for you. Why wouldn't you invite them into a relationship? It's basically like saying, the first date was really great. I'm kind of interested in you. Let's go on a second date. Neither one of us is ready to walk down the aisle yet, but I think it's worth having a second date. Now, imagine how many people will say, yeah, I am really curious enough. I'm not ready to make this transaction right now, but I have a problem and this might be the solution to that problem. So that's what we're missing out when this piece of our pipeline or funnel is broken or not in place. Let's look at another example. And this could happen anywhere along the line. We're just looking at a few examples right here. Let's imagine that you get down to this point and you've put in all this work, especially if you're proactive, like working on this. You've prospected and you've qualified them. You've built a great message on your website and in all of your social media and all the content you're putting out there. And you've drawn in some people. You've made that next phone call and you've qualified them and they've started to qualify you. You have a solution for them. And if they're in your funnel, they've opted in. You've given them something in exchange for value. So they've gotten to learn a little bit more. They really loved what happened there. And they're looking for your emails in their inbox. They're enjoying this. You're actually sending that nurture sequence, right? This third level here. They like the value. You're giving them some more insights about what you do, how it works. You're sharing stories about somebody else's had a success. You've had another sales call over here if you're proactive and you're in the proactive step here, and it went really, really well. But you didn't send a proposal or you didn't ask for the sale over here. And this, I know this seems really crazy, but it happens all the time. So this is how I like to imagine this. Imagine that you're in a department store and you're getting some tennis shoes for your son, and you've got an armful of stuff because you went in with your kids and you found all of them needed a pair of shoes and all this stuff, and you're ready to check out. And you go to the front of the store and there's some people standing there, but there's no cash register and you're not really sure. There's not even anybody holding those little, scanners that they can use to check you out. And so you're so, well, where do I check out? I'm ready to check out. I've got to be somewhere. I'm ready. Now I'm ready. I need to check out. We need to go. Where do I check out, ma'am? And they say, oh, we don't want to pressure you too much. We are worried it will make people uncomfortable if we ask for the sale. So we have put the cash registers in the second stall of the women's restroom in the back. That is essentially what you're doing right here. If you don't actually show up and give them that proposal, or you don't actually give them that strong call to action in an email. And the same thing's true on your website. What about those people that show up ready to buy, right? They know their kid needs shoes. They're ready to buy. You got to have that call to action that lets them know how do they get what you want. And when we're looking just at brand messaging, specifically, a great way to tell if somebody's messaging is on point is when we do website audits of their main landing page. We're trying to pass what we call the grunt test. And you have less than 8 seconds when somebody shows up on your website for them to determine what problem do you solve, what is the solution you use to solve it, and how do I get it? So even if they're not ready to buy right now, people expect to know how they can get it when they are. And it's really, really important. And if you get your brand messaging right, even up here, you're starting to educate them on when you're ready, here's how you do it. When you're ready to buy, here's the next step. It's really, really simple. When you're ready, this is what you do. So it's important that in both processes, both in our sales and our marketing, people are very, very clear, because people are going to be ready to take action at a different rate on both sides of this. So you want to make sure that you're not missing that step. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the next one. So here's what you've done. You've put in all this work. You've captured some really, really great leads. They've opted in, or they've invited you to have another phone call with them. You've qualified each other. You have the product or the solution they need to the problem that they've had. But right here, you're not asking them to buy. People will not take action unless we ask them to do so, even when they have a problem. So people will not take action. We are distracted. We're busy. We will let a problem just flounder quite often if somebody doesn't actually call us to action and say, it's time, and here's the solution. I have it for you. So this is a problem we see in businesses a lot. So we have to get these consistent leads, and we have to look at every single piece, not just of our sales pipelines, but also our automated funnels that are really assisting and amplifying that and giving us the ability to scale up to a profitable business and a business that we can scale beyond that and really grow to get those sales that we need. Here's the brilliant thing about an automated funnel, though. This is what's happening. You may be taking 1 or 5 or 10 people through this process manually in your business, but guess what? This is happening over and over again. There's all these people going through that process at the exact same time. They don't have to sit and wait for you to physically, manually maneuver them through the process. They can be having their own customer journey that fits them, meets them where they're at the same time. And you can enter that customer journey at any point when they're ready or you're ready. So this is really amazing. Why wouldn't you build this into your business? It doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't be allowing people to take that journey. It's like saying, I'm sorry, only one person can start down this path at a time, even though they may not make it to the end, versus letting everybody who wants to an opportunity to take that journey with you. So that's why it can be so valuable to put a really effective, complete marketing funnel into your business where you're actually taking people all the way through. You're using really great messaging. You've got that brand script nailed down. And why that piece is so important, why I've added it to this, is because people don't necessarily buy the best products or services. People buy the products and the services that they understand the fastest. When they're ready, they buy the ones that are in front of them, the ones that have been communicating. So it's really important that you show up and you do that. So in the Story Built Marketing Funnel Bootcamp, we cover several elements. We help you create, design, and actually implement and launch them into your business. So we talked about that powerful brand script. So we actually get your messaging really, really nailed down. And that is the piece that you're going to pull out for when you're creating your sales scripts for your calls, when you're creating social media posts, when you're doing anything sales or marketing related. Even when you're looking at possibly creating new products or services in your business, you're going to pull that out as inspiration. And you're going to write subscripts for each one of those sub products or services in your business. We're also going to identify your ideal customer profile and really flush that out, helping you understand and actually create the content and the words that are going to help them better connect and really clearly understand how you solve their problems. Then we're actually going to create the funnel strategy elements. What does that actual journey look like? How do we connect the dots and form a map and a road system that people can actually travel down? What does that look like? You have to have that pre-construction meeting, right? You have to have a design before you build a house. So we actually make sure that we create that. You don't want to skip that piece. Then we also have frameworks for the actual digital elements in your business, your sales, and your landing pages, whether it be just where they're opting in to get the free resource to make sure that they are entering into your funnel, whether or not you're selling something or you're just educating them on a product or service online. We have all of that built in so you can create those elements as well. Those pieces can be really daunting to people sometimes, but if you can break them down to effective framework using that messaging you created at the beginning, they become highly, highly effective. We're also going to talk about email copy formulas. We're going to give you formulas and strategies to help you not be overwhelmed by showing up consistently, because you're going to see the value and you're going to want to make sure you, once you have that relationship forming, you don't just leave people behind, but how do you have a strategy that's not overwhelming? It's really aligned with where you are at each phase of your business, and you can plan that out either quarterly, either biannually, or even annually for your business, so you have a strategy. But then also, how do you write really great emails? What are the different types and what are the formulas that you can use if that's something that really overwhelms you? We're also going to talk about that sales letter formula. And this is something that you're probably going to take the copy and the formula that you use to create that and implement it into any proactive sales conversations that you're having as well. So it's doubly valuable. And so much of this you're actually going to find really translates over into your sales activity. But it's really important that once you build this, you fill it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to manually take them through every single phase. They're going to go through that process if it's built right. What you need to do is focus on filling it, showing up in the right places. And if you stick around, I'm actually going to let you know about an extra thing, a special offer that we have just for folks today, where we're going to actually give you 365 days of strategy for your social media filling processes. So almost everybody today is showing up on social media, and that's a great opportunity to create that awareness. It's where people start coming into original contact with you. And we're going to make that super simple with another resource that we've recently created. And then we're also going to talk about how are you going to launch your funnels. This is something a lot of people miss. They build this, but they don't actually go out there and strategically put it out in front of people. So this is a great way to get a really early boost in getting people in your funnel. So you can actually go through a launch strategy where you're talking about that lead generator, you're using that messaging, and you're talking about the solution you have to your customer's problem. and taking them through a really strategic process to create awareness and start getting people excited to coming in and going into your funnel, where you're actually taking them through the process right alongside your sales activities. You can find information about this program. We only do this a few times a year, and we only do a limited number of people. And the reason we do is because it's really high touch point. Since we added the brand script feature, and since everybody's business is unique, we are actually running this mastermind style. So there's weekly phone calls, there's office hours, there's feedback on every single piece of collateral. So it's really intense. The reason it's intense, the reason it's called a boot camp, is that the point is to get you to finish. Lots of people start this process and dream about this process, but not a lot of people actually get it done and implemented and launched and effective in their business. I only want you in here if that is your goal, to actually get it done and implemented. So just a few people, and we go through this live. You have access to the materials for the life of the program, but you only go through it live this very initial time unless you go through it again. So it's really, really important that we get people in, we get the right people in, not too many people, and then we get started, because it's interactive. You're actually going to know the people that you're going through this with by the time it's over. And I'm going to know your business really, really well. You're going to understand so much more about each one of these elements and how you're going to be able to craft it, especially if you decide you have another product or offering that you want to create a specific funnel for later. You're going to have the ability and the resources to be able to do that yourself. So the funnel is how we really take people through that process, and we're not manually moving them through each piece of that sales. We're doing it in conjunction. We're letting our sales and our marketing work together and really feed off of each other and amplify our efforts. So if you want to get your spot, get it today. Like I said, so we have a special offer. If you jump in today into the StoryBuilt Marketing Funnel Bootcamp, and the link is right here, storybuilt.marketing/bootcamp, we're going to give you our lead machine kit, which is a complete strategy and a 12-month calendar with 365 prompts, templates, and swipes for social media, including an actual strategy builder where you're talking about the different buckets and types of things you should be talking about, and why they're both all important. Formulas to help you actually create really compelling social media posts. And this will work. We've created it so that it'll work depending on where you need to show up, where your audience is. And we're going to be talking about that in the bootcamp. Where is your audience? Remember that piece where we said we're actually going to be identifying the ideal customer. We don't want you swinging at ugly. We want you to be swinging at the qualified leads. And you can qualify people that are coming into your funnel just as effectively as you can qualify a proactive prospect as well. And they'll do some of the self-opting out for you if your messaging is done right. And then the lead machine kit, once you've done this, you're going to be able to know, where should I show up? How should I show up? And then what are the different types of things that I can be doing to generate interest and really wanting to get them excited about, getting enlightened about the solutions that we have, and going on a journey with us, going into your funnel and becoming part of your process where you get an opportunity to convert them to your customers. So really, really powerful, really great extra tool that we're offering right there. So I hope that you join us. I'm super excited that you showed up here. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope you learned. I hope you're excited about the different pieces of what a marketing funnel can be. And you're excited about, putting one in your business. Everybody, I've not found one business that couldn't benefit from adding this into their business. And in the process, all together over a 5-week period, we're going to go from designing, actually creating all the profitable elements, making sure that each element is based on that brand message, that script that you design, really creating them, designing them, and then we're going to actually implement them. We are actually in the process, and it's going to be given to you at the moment that you need it. Tools and recommendations for resources, because we don't want you to get stuck on that piece. We're going to encourage you and make sure that you get past the implement piece. And then we're going to be challenging you and helping you build a launch strategy so you can get a big influx of people into that funnel right from the beginning. Get a big boost out of that from the beginning. Some fresh people really coming to you, connecting and going through, getting enlightened, connecting with you as the solution that they need for the problems that you solve for them. So this is how you grab more information. This is how you get your spot, storybuilt.marketing/bootcamp. We're super excited to have you there. We really want you to join us. We want you to be one of those people that comes through and gets everything you need out of it to make your life a little bit easier, just like the people that have gone through it so far. So wanted to make sure that there's a couple other questions I know that have come in. So let's just talk a little bit about a few of those. And then I can also share that link in here for anybody that wants to check it out. But one of the questions that we get a lot is, how hard is it? How hard is this to do? And with all the technology that's out there right now, it's never been so easy to actually have automated systems in your business that are easy to manage. People in your office would probably love the opportunity to learn how to manage this stuff and to be able to implement it, and they can control it themselves. The great way about doing it this way is you don't have to buy a specific piece of software. We're not selling software. We're selling you the harder pieces, the harder things that people just don't get right when they do it. If you focus too much on just the software, you're probably not going to be getting your brand message right. You're not going to be creating the best lead generator. We want you to focus on those critical elements. We're going to give you resources and suggestions, but the tech part's not the hard part. Everybody gets daunted by that. All of that is super figure outable. What isn't figure outable are all the elements that we're going to make sure that we help you create along the way. So make sure that you grab a spot and you get in there. We had another person that went through this process, and they had a great business. They had a successful business. They actually had a database of lots of emails, but they never actually actively engaged with them. So they wanted twofold. They wanted to be able to bring in new, fresh customers. They had recently bought an existing business. And they also knew that a lot of their customers bought just a small amount of the products that they sold from them, but they bought things that they sold other places too, from other people. So they saw this as a real big gap and opportunity, but they had a big enough list that they needed to, one, filter it out, really kind of maybe clean it out. Anybody that wasn't active, maybe they were no longer in business. This was a B2B operation. They needed to do that. But in order to do that, they needed to kind of activate this. So they built the funnel in an effort to really reactivate them and then get super, super strategic, not just about filling the funnel and bringing in new opportunities, but also to really engage with their customers. And what they did is they were able to drastically increase the amount of revenue they were receiving from their current customers, while also having a revenue goal being met with new customers coming in. But something really exciting that they did after they got started, they were showing up consistently. They actually started engaging in those emails and actually asking for feedback back. Asking their customers to chime in on customer service, on products and services that they might be using or looking for out there that they couldn't find, or what were areas that they struggled in their business as it related to the products that they sold. And they were actually able to start offering tips and tricks that made their customers incredibly loyal. They weren't necessarily getting paid for that, but it created so much value that then they saw another level up in the amount of loyalty and referrals and the quantity of business that they were getting from each individual customer. So there's so many ways that you can use this in your business. It's really powerful. And the sky's really the limit in terms of your creativity and what you can do with this. But it's so amazing to be able to take more people to that level of forming a really strong relationship. So I hope you will consider joining us for the Story Built Marketing Funnel Bootcamp for this round. You need to get your spot right away. We're going to be capping that, but super excited to see you there. Can't wait to answer your questions. I am on LinkedIn and Facebook, super active over on LinkedIn, but also here on Facebook if you're joining on Facebook. And if you have questions, you can message me. You can get in touch, ask me about it. So the card is opening. You can purchase today. You could not purchase, you could not get in, you could not secure your spot before today, but we start on Tuesday, next Tuesday. So that is, I believe it's the 23rd. So make sure that you get your spot, because you're going to want to get access to get in there and start watching those first training videos right away as soon as you can. And once you get in, you actually get access and you can start going through some of the best stuff right there at the beginning right away. So can't wait to have you in there. Super excited. And once again, go over to storybuild.marketing/bootcamp and look through there right now. Message me with questions, but if nothing else, get your spot. You're going to want to implement this in your business. Don't wait and look back a year from now or 2 years from now and say, if I would have started then, what could my business have looked at? Look, we want you to do it right now. Start now. This is a long-term strategy for your business, and what you can do with it, like I said, is really limitless. And it's all tied to your creativity and your ability to build solutions for people. So make sure that you do this critical piece, amplify and really leverage all the hard work that you put into your business.